I think Elon Musk said it recently, humans are underrated, he said. They can do a lot of very good things that is pretty much impossible to automate. So we need to figure out a way where robots do what they do best. We call it the dangerous, dirty, and dull jobs, boring jobs if you like, and people do the things they're good at. We're living in a world where not as many children are born as there were 10, 20, 30 years ago. And everybody, they also live longer, and which is a good thing, you can say, right? People live longer, we're more healthy, better medicine, but it also put a lot of pressure on the world in respect to producing the goods that needs to be produced to give everybody what they need in respect to products and food and medicine, etc. So a shrinked working age population, and also the fact that a lot of the younger generation, they don't want to take on the same kind of jobs that their parents and grandparents did. We're really seeing a strong labor shortage issue across the entire world. Another important factor we're seeing is resilience in the manufacturing space and reshoring. The last 60 years, we've seen big manufacturing sites mass producing things for the entire world in very few places actually done in the world. We've seen a lot of factories in China, for example, and India, building and producing things or goods for the entire world. Now, in the last 5 years, and we're seeing a trend for this to happen even more, we see a desire for companies to bring the actual manufacturing of their goods closer to home, closer to the customers, to have more resilience in the manufacturing, being less dependent on a few companies to build everything. And this requires skills. It requires people to do the production, and it requires, again, automation at the end of the day to move production closer to home. And as I mentioned, the global demand, we're going to be more people on the planet, and we're going to be less people actually working. So if you add those three things up, I would argue if we don't do something about this, the world has a real problem. So us, you, me, everybody, as citizens of the world, we need to find a way to solve that problem. And one of the answers is automation. Let's talk about Korea for a second. And I think you all know this, just like pretty much the rest of the world, Korea has an aging population. However, Korea, by far the country in the world that has the best grip of the situation. This is the country where the highest density of automation with robotics is in the entire world. We're by far number one. In fact, today, more than, for every 10,000 employees working in the manufacturing, we have 1,000 robots. So compared to every other country in the world, you're way better. You're in much, much better position to get through the challenges you're going to face. Because of the other stat I put here on the slide is 13 million fewer Koreans are in working age in 27 years from now. Again, that's a big problem I talked about before. Korea will have to automate even more, but you're leading the pack of the world in this endeavor. So that's very impressive, I want to say. But it also gives us an idea of the automation opportunity for the world is just incredibly big. And the real challenge we have to fix together here is to do it in the right way. Because the old ways, or the way we're thinking about automation in the past, is not how it's going to really be in the future, if you ask me. It's not going to be a world where, robots will do all the work and us humans or people, we will do something else. No, I don't believe so. We're going to see a world where automation, particularly from robotics, we're going to work hand in hand, people and robots. That's what Industry 5.0 is very much about as well. So allow me to take you a little bit through how we see the industry of the future. So just to summarize what I said so far, the world has a problem. We need to find a way to automate so we can produce the goods we need for all the people in the world, giving the less amount of people in working age. And two, Korea is very much ahead of the game. So let's talk about what the future looks like. We've talked for last 5-10 years about Industry 4.0, right? This is the era of digital integration, physical production, digital technologies. They're all combined for an optimal manufacturing process. And we also call that smart automation, pretty much. You have advanced robotics, you have artificial intelligence starting to enter the picture as well, to make sure you're able to manage more variations in your manufacturing and do smarter things that hasn't been possible before with robotics. But here's the thing. If you want to have the best possible solution to the automation problems, it is Industry 5.0. And Industry 5.0 is all about putting people at the center of the process. So let's look at what the future looks like in a couple of steps. First, we believe the future of the industry is collaborative. The whole idea is centered around people, but there are robots, there are automation to take care of some of the tasks that we are not designed to do as humans. So we're going to have robots doing the things they're supposed to do. Not necessarily what they're doing today, but what they're supposed to do. And we can do as people what we're supposed to do. Second, we also need to look at a future that is more connected. Right? We're going to see much more factories with a lot of automation in it. And again, we're going to have a lot of pressure on these factories to deliver the goods they can in the most efficient way. Hence, things like downtime, things like the system's not working as expected, it's just not acceptable anymore. So we need to be connected. We need to have connected solutions. We need to make sure we can remote monitor things. We need to be able to predict when failures are going to happen, so we can solve them efficiently and upfront before they actually do happen, because there's no room for error in the future. It also needs to be scalable. Scalable means there's a lot of companies out there, your companies we work with every day, that needs to figure out, how do I get from a more manual setup to a more human-centric automated setup? And it needs to be done in a smart way, right? Some companies will do everything at once. We don't see that very often. Most companies, they take a couple of opportunities to automate things, work with people, between people and robots, and then they scale gradually as they learn. So we need to understand, how do we build modular solutions so you can start small and don't go big when you're ready. And finally, it has to be sound. And what I mean by sound, it needs to make sense, I would say. The technology we provide and need to provide, us, our competitors, everybody, it needs to be efficient. It needs to make sure it actually does drive productivity. And really important, it has to be sustainable. Keep in mind, again, the future we're looking into. Overpopulated planet, not enough people working to produce all the goods. That means the automation that we bring into the world needs to be highly sustainable. It needs to have green footprint. It needs to use the minimum amount of power. When it's done doing what it has, it needs to be recyclable. So we need to really take care of our planet while we do what we do. And that takes me to some of the things that we can actually do if you think of all these topics. There's a lot of opportunities out there at hand that we should take advantage of, because all the new technologies are really, really helping. And I want to talk a little bit about how we do it at Universal Robots. We're a tech company, so we design new technologies. We design software, we design hardware, obviously, and we do it with the mindset of, okay, how can we help the businesses that use our products to automate to be as efficient as possible? What we're thinking about, obviously, we're thinking about safety first. Again, if you want to operate in a world where humans and robots work side by side, safety is at the core of everything we do. It needs to be safe. Two, we're spending a lot of effort on connectivity, the remote support, putting in machine learning, artificial intelligence into our products. But the way we do it, because we see ourselves as a platform much more as a product, so we do it in a way where we put in the technology that enables machine learning and enable you to do AI topics. And we build it as a platform, so anybody, our partners, and today we have more than 1,000 partners around us in this massive ecosystem that are also building technology around our product. So we enable them to use that technology that we make available to create real solutions for customers that are using all these technologies. Again, connectivity, remote support, machine-based learning, libraries. So that's what we believe in. We can't build everything. We don't know every problem to customers. And I think we all should really be thinking about it like this. There's so many companies, small or big, out there that has incredible ideas. And that's what we call the ecosystem. If we can enable them to do incredible innovations around the products that we build to make the tailor-fit solutions for end customers that actually need to automate, I think that's how we're going to get to the goal line of ensuring that the world gets automated in the right way, the fastest.